right, so as I promised, I'm here recording this video to make sure that you understand as the weeks goes on, that you understand really how you're gonna complete your task as I mentioned during your session. So today we talk a lot about your values and about what they mean for you or what needs they really are covering, because based on your needs and unconsciously you have been covering or fulfilling or meeting your needs through things that you do, including some of them are going to be your values, right? So anyways, today I task you to go back home and list or solicit the values that are important to you in different contexts. As we discussed it here, you're gonna do it in the context of a romantic relationship. So basically you gotta sit down and think and ask for yourself as you take a deep breath and you relax and you ask, what is important to me right now? What value is important to me right now in the context of a romantic relationship? And you already are committed to a relationship. So think of that in the context of my marriage. What is valuable to me right now in this moment of my life? And it is important that you say that right now, because perhaps maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago when you started that relationship, the values were different than they are today. Why? Well, because we go through different changes in life, and as we satisfy some of the needs that we have, we discover new needs that we have, therefore our values changes based on what you need today. So something that perhaps wasn't valuable to you yesterday, but today, because it became part of a need and you're not getting that need met, then it has more value to you today. So that's why you want to explore that. So anyways, I task you to go back and ask and solicit what values are important to you in the context of your relationship, because those are going to be what you're going to be using for basically to communicate with your spouse, with your partner. Because if you are not living the values that you consider important for you right now, you're gonna have conflict, you're gonna have communication problems, you're gonna have frustration, because like I said, those values usually are helping you to cover or to satisfy a need. So that's why it's so important that you take your time and just ask the question when you are relaxed, and just take a moment, invest in it 10-15 minutes, and just ask, what is important to me right now in the context of my relationship? And take a deep breath and relax and let the answer come to you. Perhaps the answer is honesty, perhaps the answer is connection, perhaps the answer is integrity, loyalty, or whatever it is that it comes to you. Listen to that and write it down as I ask you. Then after you're done writing a list of a 10, 20, you want to look at the list again and you want to order them in number from 1 to the number you reach, 1 to 20, in the order of importance. So look at the list. Then what I want you to do is see, okay, I have my list here, and out of my whole list, which one is the number one? Which one is the most important right now for me? And perhaps in that moment you find out that connection is the most important one for you. Why? Because perhaps you don't feel connected to your partner, to your spouse, because maybe you're not having sex, maybe you're not having connection, maybe you're not having intimacy, maybe you're not having emotional connection. Whatever it is the reason why you're having the value right now at a higher value, hence number 1. So I want you to be honest about it. I know it may be a painful process at one point, because it means you had to recognize that there is a need for you that you're not meeting, so or that is not being met. So it's important for you take your time to go through these and be honest with yourself, because at the end the benefit is for you and for your spouse in the relationship. So go through that process. Once you have the list, ask yourself, why is this important for me? And go through the list and go through each, at least for the first 10 items, do that. Why is this important for me? What does this mean? First of all, what is contact or connection means for me? And then specify, maybe the value that you found number 1 is service. But what does service means to you? And so once you identify what it means to you, then ask, why is this important for me? Why? Because you're gonna start finding out the reasons why you're doing it. So let's say you do service, and you decide the service means that you help others. It means that you're getting noticed. Okay, why is that important for you? And then you go to the list, and perhaps the next thought that comes to your mind is, well, because when I do service, I feel appreciated. Why is that important to you? Because when I feel appreciated, I feel that I exist. Why is that important to you? Because I don't want to feel invisible. Why is that important for you? Because I want to feel connected. Why is that important for you? Because I want to feel love. And so you get to the basic need. And how do you know you have come to your need? It's because you feel a sense of relief when you finally acknowledge. And when you're like, oh, I finally said it. I said it. My need is I want to be loved. And so therefore, you're using service to somehow fulfill or look for to meet that need, which is, in this case, I want to feel love. And perhaps there are other ways in which you can feel love without having to go through all the trouble. Of course, if you enjoy doing service, that's wonderful. But if you're doing service and you're not getting the love that you want and you're getting frustrated, well, that's because the strategy that you're using to satisfy your need doesn't match with the outcome that you're getting. Because the expectation is, if I serve people, I will feel love. And not everybody will love you because you serve them. So if you're not aligning the purpose with what you're doing, you're going to be misaligned, and that's why you're frustrated. So look for that. And once you have the need, once you recognize what is the need that I have, then you can start thinking, well, what are the other ways that I can make sure that my need is met? For example, if I want to be loved or I want to feel love is my need, then what are the ways first in which you personally are showing love for yourself? Because that's so important, because you gotta love yourself first. You can't always give that job, that huge responsibility to someone else, because goodness, they probably don't even know how to love themselves, let alone love somebody else. And that's a huge job that you place on someone else, because first of all, maybe they don't have an instruction on how do you even know how you are loved. So that's the next question that I want you to ask. Once you identify your need, and then you say, okay, my need is I want to be loved. Well, how do you know when you are being loved is the next question. So ask a question. How do I know that I am being loved? What do I need to see? What do I need to hear? Or what do I need to feel to know that I am loved? And once you have the answer, then you're going to look for yourself. And let's say the answer is, I want to be touched. Again, you're looking for connection, which is why you want to feel love, which is why you're saying, I want to be touched. So you want to feel something. You want to feel touched. Well, how specifically do you want to feel touched? Look at that, because most likely you have a step-by-step strategy of how that touch makes you feel, or how you want to feel when you get touched, because maybe the touch is here and it doesn't produce the same sensation as if you get a hug, for example. So look for it. How do I want to feel touched? How do I know that I'm being touched accordingly to your expectations? So you will communicate that to your husband or to your spouse or to your friend or whomever, if that's the value that you're looking for, of course. Let's say your value is I don't know, honesty. Well, what does honesty means to you? And you gotta interpret that for you, and then you gotta sit down with your husband or your spouse, your wife, and ask the same thing. What does honesty means to you? Because you have to be in alignment in the interpretation of the value, because maybe for one person it means something completely opposite of the other. You guys gotta be in communication to where you both benefit of the meaning of the value, because it's not about, well, it has to mean my way or no way. No, it's not about sacrificing one point of view or one value. It's about agreeing, but mainly benefiting both of you of the same value, of the same interpretation. Because when you sacrifice and when you're like, well, yeah, we'll go with your way, eventually this sacrificing, it turns into resentment, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you align, both of you align in the meaning of the value that you're working on. Again, you both got to benefit from the value, and that's how you will know that you are on the right track. The next thing that you want to look is, once you identify the value, then you want to ask, how do we know How do we make sure that we both are understanding or living this value? For example, let's say you choose honesty. Well, what does honesty means to you? Or how will I know that you're being honest with me? Well, because I will be included in the conversations with your friends. Or maybe it means because I know you're being honest to me when you tell me the truth every day, when there is no hesitation in your answers. It really depends on you both on an agreement. There is no wrong or right answer. It depends on what you both want to agree to communicate on to how to live the value. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't, let me know. Shoot me a text, an email, or leave me a comment, and I will be happy to answer that for you. So I hope that you understand this. Go and look for what is valuable to you in the context of your relationship. Make a list, order them from importance from 1 to 20, and after that, ask yourself, what does this mean? And how or why is this important to me? To find the need that you're covering or that you're meeting or satisfying through the value. And then once you have that, find what other ways I can cover this need that I have without necessarily going through all this trouble of things that I do, where I can take a shortcut that can take me straight to it. So if you find out that your need is, I want to be recognized, well, what can I do to be recognized immediately versus having to go to the trouble to serve a lot of people that may not be even recognizing me the way I want to be recognized? Perhaps maybe you want to, I don't know, participate in a club where you can talk or express and be recognized or do other things. So that's where creativity comes along. So anyways, you both as a couple need to be in agreement with the value that you're living and the importance of the value. And if you find that his values or your values or her values and your values are not in alignment, then find a way to where you both agree to where those values are important in the context of your relationship. It's so important that you recognize and differentiate in the context of your relationship. Maybe something is important to you as a person, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to the relationship, which is like a third entity, you gotta deposit some of the values to make your relationship valuable. Does that make sense? Because it's not about me being selfish or me being only what I want is important. It has to be my way. No, it's about both of you benefiting from this relationship, both of you understanding and communicating what is important to you in that relationship. So use that again for this. The other thing that I want you to know, and one of the things that we talked about was about the importance of feeling united as a family. And that's important to you. And we discussed a little bit about the whole family in terms of how you benefit when all of you participate, for example, chores. And so the other thing that I want to mention is that it's important to, especially when we have teenagers or younger kids that are able to take responsibilities. The reason why it's important that you assign them responsibilities is because in a way you're helping them to feel accomplished. You're helping them to trust in themselves. You're helping them to feel confident. So when you assign a task, a chore, as we call them, I don't know, dishes, vacuuming, laundry, whatever it is that you want to assign, you're helping them to be responsible. You're helping them to accomplish so they can feel satisfied. You're helping them to accomplish so they can feel that they can do things, so they can finish things. And as they do that, they feel self-confidence in self-trust. So it's important that you do that, because if you do everything for them, yeah, it may seem good in the superficial level, but eventually they're gonna feel like, I don't know how to do anything. I never learned how to do things. Or they're gonna feel unworthy. They're gonna feel on low self-esteem because they're not gonna be able to trust themselves. So it's so important that you do assign work to help to your kids, so they can help you to meet your need, which is the need of teamwork, of unity. But it's important for them because they are gonna develop self-confidence, self-trust, self-accomplishment as they do those things. Now, if you're having a hard time, for example, with your teenagers committing to the task, well, then give him the power to choose what task he or she wants to accomplish, because may not necessarily be that he's liking, for example, let's say dishes. I remember when I was a teenager, oh my goodness, I didn't like doing dishes. I would rather do laundry, I would rather do floors or other things but dishes. And when I did those things, I felt accomplished. Versus doing dishes, it was very usually painful because I dislike it so much that I didn't want to do them. Well, I got to choose and do other things instead of doing that, and I was still fulfilling the need of the family. I was satisfying the expectation of the family of participating, of teamwork and unity in the family, yet I was satisfying my desire at the same time. So use that. See if that will help you with your family unit, and see if together can cooperate to make the place work even better. So that would also help you. And so let me see. Also, the other thing I have here is in my notes is what problems arise when you do not talk about the values, for example, or the task with your kids. It's important that you communicate that, because if you don't, then the problem is that we have misunderstanding, we are hurting each other because we are not satisfying or meeting our own needs, or we are basically violating our limits, our limitations, our expectations, our boundaries. So it's important that you have clarity with that, because as you do that, then you're gonna have a better relationship. I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, let me know. But otherwise, continue your tasking, and as you do that, you're gonna have clarity, and as you have clarity, you're gonna feel more confident with who you are and why it are things important for you, and that will build your confidence to continue going on. So anyways, until next time, my name is Norma Cohn, and thank you so much. I'll see you